Oakland, and one
So
that's like better for the Raiders globally,
so
and let's just try to garner sympathy.
but essentially Oakland's suing them saying and they're willing to just let the Raiders go. Like they just want the Raiders to leave already. The Raiders personally Mark Davis wants to stay there. That's his home. He wants to play one more season there and try to give the team a respectable year. I've heard quotes anywhere they're willing to pay anywhere from $2 to $7 million in rent. But Mark Davis is also kind of mad that they're suing him. So, as you've said, it's pretty much a pissing contest. And pretty much, as always, the biggest losers are the fans. Because not only are they losing a cultural icon and a community driving force, but now we're also getting the mudslinging attached to all that. And honestly, as I've said before in the group chat, I see both sides of it. You know, I know California is not going to cut a check for a stadium. I know how valuable that land is to Oakland and the Silicon Valley money. But at the same time, I also know what that team means as a cultural and community icon to the people that actually live there and have lived there for a long time, both black and white. The Raiders were a united and driving force for a really long time. So seeing that leave is always going to hurt, and I would rather them stay there another year. But at the same time, I also don't blame them for leaving, because if you're going to leave, you might as well just rip the Band-Aid off.
It's like if you and your ex broke up, and your ex is gonna stay there and fuck random people for the next year and be cool with it. Y'all they gonna help.
You just get tired of it
y'all
after
help
2
rent.
years.
Like, I'm tired of seeing your face. Like, leave. Like, no, I'm not gonna. What's the point of you
Like,
being?
no, I don't have to leave. I pay the mortgage. Well, I don't want you to pay the mortgage. Leave.
You can just leave altogether, and I'll deal with this shit on my own.
Yeah.
Fucking scumbag. I hate you. I hope you die on the way outside. I hope you get shot and somebody carjacks you.
So, yeah, but if I'm the
In so many
Raiders,
words.
I'll go and play in Reno, just because that's kind of like the middle between Vegas and Oakland.
I had an option.
Helps you build in Nevada without totally turning away from the Bay immediately.
You kind of are, though.
So it's kind of, I mean, yeah, leaving the Bay is always going to turn your back on the Bay, period.
Yeah. And some of us will forgive you, sadly. But I had an option that I posed in our group chat. I said, on the way out is a sign of good faith. The Raiders should just pick all the Oakland and Bay Area high schools, like the best ones and all that. Like, in high schools that former Raiders went to, like Bishop O'Dowd, Kurt Morrison went there. Oakland Tech, Marshawn Lynch went there. De La Salle, Maurice Jones-Drew went there. And like,
I don't acknowledge MJD as a Raider, but go ahead.
Wow, okay. All right then. Damn, I didn't know that. But nah, I would just say,
Shout out to whoever made that Spider-Man meme of Amari Cooper and Randy Moss staring at each other. Y'all petty as fuck.
yeah, but Randy Moss was Cooper was a Raider. He has to like own
Yeah.
it. He was drafted in
yeah.
a Pro Bowl alternate. Like, you kind of have to own it. And now no one in that picture is on the team except Derek Carr. But yeah, I my thing would be the Raiders should just pick 10 high schools, all the state champions, because the state championships are this weekend, the 15th at Cerritos College. Shout out to Londale High for making it to the state Division 2A state championship game. And they're going to play San Joaquin Memorial High School, who's like 14-0. But the last team they played before San Joaquin, South Hills, was 14-0. So, hey, good luck, Coach Clark, Londale Cardinals, all that good stuff. Shout out to them. This will be my last plug. Pete's like looking at me like, okay, bro, you get it. You went to Londale. Even though he don't ever mention his high school. But anyway, all seriousness, if Oakland really wanted to be on the up and up, they would play their games at those high schools, those schools that are winning state championships this year, like Laney, and then the other 6 games they could pick like junior colleges, San Francisco State, maybe even Cal Berkeley. I don't know, like San Jose State. You could play a game there, work something out with the school. If you really cared about the Bay Area and you wanted to go out on good terms, that's what you would do. Imagine having an NFL game at Bishop O'Dowd High School. Yeah.
Probably better than StubHub or whatever they're going to call it because they just changed the name again. But
yeah, or Oakland Tech where, Marshawn Lynch went and played. Or you do it at Cal. You really make yourself like this, we will always be Oakland. And those memories are enough to be like, you know what? We know y'all leaving, but at least y'all did this. And this is like $1 million idea. But they probably won't do it because, like all your money's in Vegas. Let's be honest. Like, don't worry. If you do this, you have enough money to be like, all right, we'll have extra seats and all that stuff. We'll play these NFL games. And let's say you're terrible. They'll at least broadcast the first game. At least pick the highest ranking Northern California team and play at their high school. Just don't play in Sacramento because fuck Sacramento. Yeah, I said it, Brandon and Jordan. But yeah, like pick Oakland high schools, the Oakland district champion. McClymonds, you got to play McClymonds High School, obviously. Shout out to my mom who went to McClymonds and set a bunch of state records. And McClymonds High School is actually in the state title game this weekend. So there's that. See, I'm just saying, like there's a bunch of Oakland high schools that are great, that are state championships in their divisions, and you could just play at all those high schools. Like I said, play at the other high schools, like a Oakland Tech. Like that would really empower the community. But
yeah,
you
man.
won't. But you won't. And
yeah, it's good. It's a good idea.
You can even make a one-time deal. Like, okay, our last game of the year will be at the Oakland Coliseum.
Be better than taking their bum asses to Mexico or London.
Because we know how that worked. But that's the thing. Like sometimes you should just do what's for the best of the community that has served you.
Come on, bro. You're talking about
billion-dollar
organizations.
I know, but it's
and the Raiders are in no financial shape to be giving things away when they pretty much are upside down in equity because they have to pay the NFL like $1 billion just to move, which they could have just put that $1 billion in the stadium fund. But I digress.
It's not like they're actually going to win 15 games next year. And imagine if you come to Reno and they say, yeah, you know how you played at like the state championships, the state championship schools in Oakland? We want you to do the same thing for us in Vegas. Even if you only do one high school year, we're going to Bishop Gorman High School, which is already a hotbed and they're on TV, and some of the best recruits come out of Bishop Gorman High School. Boom. Raiders play at Bishop Gorman High School. And then they pick another one. And they just do it once a year.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
That's free pub.
It's not gonna happen.
That's free pub, bro. Like you can't get any more. You couldn't get any easier. You couldn't get the community more. You'd be lucky.
You'd be
lucky.
Away
free tickets.
You'd be lucky if you got a training camp at a high school like that. Anyways,
go to Nevada.
Anyways, other thing I want to talk about before we get to college football, Minnesota Vikings. I've cooled down again. Kirk Cousins is struggling. Overall, the offense struggling. Coach Delafilippo, I think Delafilippo.
Joe Delafilippo. I don't know. He's fired. He's fired.
Former Raiders, former Bengals offensive coordinator, got fired. His first year as the Vikings offensive coordinator. I'm sorry, he was a QB coach in Oakland, and I think he was the offensive coordinator 1 year in Cleveland. But yeah, ultimately he gets fired. And I don't know if it was necessarily his fault. I mean, obviously he didn't help, but I don't know if it was necessarily his fault
Mike Zimmer scapegoat because their offense is terrible. And
their offensive line
give $85 million to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and which we all knew was a red flag. Number one.
Who's the
number two? We knew
the butterface of all quarterbacks.
Number two, we knew their receivers were overrated. Number three, their offensive line has been par.
Trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
And Dalvin Cook's recovering. Latavius Murray's as inconsistent as he's always been. So
Rudolph
here we are.
Barely has any speed left from all those
He
injuries.
Hasn't had any speed
since before the injuries.
Since his second year.
Those injuries took him, man. Those injuries took his speed. It's unfortunate.
I think Chad Greenway could beat him in the race now.
That's fucked up, bro.
Right now.
Bro, you gotta make
and Greenway's been retired like 2 years, 3 years.
me.
Shout out to Iowa.
Wow.
But yeah, man. Any other thoughts on the
Oakland?
Vikings making a change at offensive coordinator and overall just their Super Bowl window?
I would not be surprised if Zimmer got fired. I feel like their Super Bowl window's closed.
Why do you say that? Just because?
Because they're stuck with Kirk Cousins. They got to pay him all this money. Their offensive line can't get better fast enough. He force feeds Thielen the ball when Stephon Diggs is clearly.
Todd Barr's a free agent.
Yeah.
Everson Griffin's going to be a free agent.
Can we be honest? Can we just be honest? I think we all know this.
Todd Barr should be a 3-4 stand-up end.
Aside from that, they're wasting his ability to sack the quarterback. They really are. If he ends up in Green Bay, I wouldn't be shocked.
He only has like 12 sacks in his whole career. I was like, really?
Yeah, because he's a 4-3 outside linebacker.
Yeah, I know.
Rush. Even though he was a tight end, running back, and receiver at UCLA until they made him a linebacker. But when it comes to...
Some people had him rated above Khalil Mack in 2014.
That's hilarious.
I'm pretty sure you were one of those people.
He was high. I had him up there with like a Vic Beasley.
Yeah.
I compared him to Vic Beasley, but I didn't think... I was like, not Khalil Mack.
Vic Beasley was a year after.
But still... Because that's the closest person you compare him to. Because Vic Beasley ran like a 4.5, 1 or some crazy.
But Beasley wasn't 6'5".
Beasley's like 6. He is 6'5". He's close to it.
Are you sure about this?
Beasley's tall and fast, and he hasn't been really that good since he got injured. I think he'll regain his But the Falcons' defense is just hurt all over.
He's 6'3".
Yeah.
That ain't 6'5".
Okay, well, fine. He's still fast as hell and has really long arms. But when I look at that team, and I say, okay, you have one of the number one defenses, and Zimmer may have tightened some things up. Their pass coverage, their DBs are probably better, but you still have a revolving door at strong safety, which you should have been able to fix by now. And Harrison Smith can only do so much for so long. And
because he's white and white players break down.
Athletically, he'll break down, but he's still a good safety. Like his prime is being wasted worse than Eric Weddle's. Got wasted in San Diego.
I agree.
San Diego wasted Eric Weddle. Imagine if they just got a safety to pair with him. Oh my God.
They tried with Bob Sanders. But he was already hurt.
That doesn't count. They play the same position. That doesn't count. But no. Like with Baltimore, I think Weddle's having a resurgence. Because him and Tony Jefferson are kind of interchangeable. But when I think about this Vikings team, they force feed the ball to Thielen, even though Diggs is the better player.
That's true. Nobody wants to talk about that.
Diggs is a much better player. That's why he was drafted and Thielen wasn't. But Kirk Cousins always loves to throw to certain receivers that make him comfortable and not the actually better receiver. He did it in Washington. Didn't really throw Pierre Garçon the ball. He would throw Ryan Grant the ball a lot. He force-fed the ball to Jamison Crowder, a slot guy. So
the tight ends.
Yeah, the tight ends, but it's not, like I said, it's not even a race thing. Even though Adam Thielen is good. And people need to stop acting like, oh, just because he's white, he's not good. He's good, but he's not better than Stephon Diggs. And I think if you really ask their teammates, who made the play to send them to almost send them to the Super Bowl? It was Stephon Diggs.
Next up, man, we got it's official.
That offense.
It's officially official. Lamar Jackson is the starting quarterback in Baltimore. Joe Flacco is returning this week, but he will not be returning as a starter. He will be suited up as a backup for Lamar Jackson this week. Also, man, shout out to RG3 for making an appearance in last week's game.
And apparently getting his hair fixed. Because, bro, your hair is... Oh, man. That's the epitome to get out. I was like, you got a kid? Are you trying to get a curl? Are you trying